ScouterStan. Want to talk a little bit about World Scouting. World Scouting is one of those things that's near and dear to me. And one of the really interesting aspects to it is the Scout Law is different in other countries. Here in the United States, we use a typical 12-point Scout Law, which is all based on keywords. However, in many other countries, they have different Scout laws, and they're said in a different format. They might be said in a small statement, much like the Pledge of Allegiance is what we have here in the United States. They might say an actual speech. That is their Scout law. Now, this is because originally, Baden-Powell wrote a descriptive text for his Scouting for Boys magazine, which became the book. That was actually part of what he put together. It had 9 points in this text that were adopted into the U.S. program as key words. Later on, this contained 10 points that's consistent with our Scout Law's key words. Later, when Scouting was beginning to be organized in the United States, Seton introduced 2 more points, brave and reverent. This harkened back to the birchback rolls in the woodcraft Indian movement that Seton was involved in. Baden-Powell wanted to mentor the United States standards so that they would kind of mirror the same meanings, and they did. Now, if you get a chance, you might want to go back and listen to or watch a video that I made about who created the Scout Law. That kind of describes a little more about the Scout Law. So when I started doing this research about the Scout Law, I could only find about 47 countries that had an English translation to their Scout Law that actually was a good summation of what we would think of as key points. And quite literally, 19 countries, about 40% of the survey, actually used the 10-point Scout Law outlined by Baden-Powell. The countries are Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, the Czech Republic, Egypt, Hungary, Gamaliel, Israel, Italy, Latvia, Malaysia, Netherlands, Poland, Portugal, Slovenia, South Africa, Spain, and the United Kingdom. Only 3 countries actually use the keyword 12-point Scout Law, and they are the Philippines, Taiwan, and the United States. Now, side note, the Catholic Scouts of Ireland also use a 12-point, but there is an Ireland Scouts Association that uses 7. Of all the 47 countries that were in the very small survey of Scout Laws, 95.7% of them had the word trustworthy. The point with the smallest amount was reverent at 25.5%. Now, this could be interpreted as courteous or clean. A lot of the textual Scout Laws imply this. Now, keep in mind, Scouting is in more than 47 countries. That was just all the ones I could find that were in English that I understand, that I could actually extrapolate data from. When the Scouting movement really began in 1907, the very first organization that Baden-Powell put together was the Boy Scout Association. It was based in London, and it really set the standards worldwide. Baden-Powell's idea was to mentor and help other scout organizations around the world to come up with the basic, as he called it, the scheme of scouting. Today, this organization is known as the Scout Association. They dropped the word boy back in 1967 because they were expanding into the girls' program. In 1922, the World Organization of the Scout Movement, WOSM, first started to form. WOSM has over 172 organizations throughout the world. The Boy Scouts of America Scouts BSA organization is a part of that and a very proud member of WOSM. WOSM is represented by a purple and white patch, which is literally on the left shoulder above the heart on that side of the shirt. And that's that purple and white patch patch, the fleur-de-lis with the rope around it with the square knot underneath. That is actually the symbol of WOSM. The Scout Law is a big part of scouting. No matter what structure or interpretation that it has, whatever it is important to keep this in mind, that it's universal. It is respectful and culturally defined. The Scout Law is something to literally live by. We teach our young scouts this critical message. No matter how it's done, this is something that lasts a lifetime. Thank you so much for all that you do in scouting, and I will see you next time on the trail.